Before we get to that interview, though, folks, I do need to tell you about today's sponsor, which is BetOnline. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all of your pro and college football action this year. With a new and updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to their website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Welcome, everyone, to this College Gridiron Showcase Spotlight interview powered by Frog Fuel. Frog Fuel is designed to be the most powerful protein in the world, developed by former Navy SEALs and a Stanford biochemist. Frog Fuel's medical-grade nanohydrolyzed collagen helps athletes recover faster, reduce injuries, and increase strength better than whey protein. It also digests 4 times faster than whey isolate and is ready to drink without any mixing. Frog Fuel is proudly made in America and produced by OP2 Labs, a veteran-owned nutrition company based in Fort Worth, Texas. A part of this spotlight into the College Gridiron Showcase powered by Frog Fuel, I have Mr. Clint Sigg, who is a tight end out of Lindenwood. If Lindenwood sounds familiar, we have another really talented player, Grady Daniels, the safety from Lindenwood, coming down to Fort Worth. And I want to kind of bring Clint in here for a second because he's a guy that I had kind of caught on to very late, but we ended up giving him an invite, bringing him down to Fort Worth. Very talented, 6'4 plus, 245 pounds, tight end, former high school quarterback. So diving into his backstory a little bit. Clint, before we start, man, really appreciate you hopping in, brother. How's everything been going?
Right on, man. Good. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's actually, I mean, it's genuinely my pleasure. I know it's especially around Christmas and we're heading towards New Year's and all that type of stuff. I know everybody's super busy, so I really appreciate you for hopping on. And I kind of wanted to start you off, Clint, just by doing a little deep dive into who you are as a player. So I kind of went to Longmont High School. I saw you were a very decorated high school quarterback, football player of the year out there in the state of Colorado. So you were really talented. You ended up going to Davidson, I think, originally as your first stop. So just take me through a little bit, Clint, just the high school career and why, and maybe a little bit just like a recruiting background of how you came to end up at Davidson originally.
Correct. Yep. So yeah, like you said, I played quarterback in high school. Was all state. Had a couple really good years there. I was always a bigger dude. I was 6'4" and like 215 plus playing quarterback. So I was always a bigger guy back there. Had a pretty good arm. Didn't have like a cannon or anything, but I was accurate with my throws, and we did a lot of zone read stuff as well. So I was able to make that work. And I think kind of, when you ask a lot of high school, they want to keep playing quarterback. I guess I necessarily wasn't. I don't want to say I wasn't open to playing other positions, but I was like, man, I'm still on quarterback. I believe myself. I can do this. And so I had some different recruiting opportunities with Division II, and some with some lower level Division I schools like in that Pioneer League. And so Davidson really appealed to me at the time, and so kind of took a leap of faith and went out there. In that first year when I was there, I guess it wasn't exactly what I was after in terms of just the team was kind of bad, and at that time didn't have a lot of organization among the coaching staff, and then they all left. And it was after that first semester, I was like, man, I think I gotta get out of here. And I had always had a really good connection through my recruiting with Coach Stugart who's now at Lindenwood and was at Sioux Falls at the time. And so I hit him up and was like, hey man, it's me again. What do you got going on in Sioux Falls? You got my scholarship that's still there. Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, man, we got an All-American quarterback right now who's got, a year left to play. But if you want to come play tight end, I think you could get on the field this next year. And I was like, man, because I had just redshirted, and you kind of know how that is when you're anxious to get back on the field. So I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. So I made the transition that winter. And I think, man, the first time I had got into that strength program, I think the guy put like 100 pounds on my squat, and like I gained like 20 pounds that first winter there, just ate like crazy. And so that That transition was actually pretty seamless, in terms of pretty natural hands from playing quarterback, and then, blocking took about a year to really pick up on, especially in that offense because it was a run-heavy offense, but once I got that down, I think, tight end suited me, physically pretty well, and it's a fun position to play too. I didn't really realize or understand, but I was like, "Oh, this is sweet." So, fell in love with that, and then, had 3 or 3.5 really good years there, and then my
Mhm.
last year, I ended up taking a medical, to get my shoulder labrum fixed, so
Okay.
got that. That was all real smooth, and then, um, ended up grad transferring to Lindenwood to kinda get back with the, coaches that I knew and kinda where I wanted to finish out, and I wanted to finish out with those guys. So I was fortunate enough to make that happen, and then we had the COVID year in 2020, and then finished out with um a really good fulfilling year. I know we didn't make it as far as we wanted to, but, just meeting all those guys and, being back with the coaches and, a really good year this last year at Linwood. We ran the conference and won that again. I don't think Linwood has lost a conference game in, like, 2 years, which is just crazy to me, but so, yeah, man, that takes us, through my journey pretty much up to now. I'm super excited to get out to Fort Worth and kinda get rocking out there and show y'all what I could do.
Yeah, man, and we're really excited, obviously. And I know it's a little bit of a different perspective from you, Clint, because I talked to Grady, who was, originally like he came right to Lindenwood out of high school. Drew Sears came right to Lindenwood out of high school, and they talked about like when they first got there, Lindenwood was down in the dumps. Like they were not a good program. They had multiple losing seasons in a row, and they really had kind of taken what obviously you guys have now accomplished over the last couple of years. Can you just speak to the senior class that you guys have a little bit? Because obviously you're a little bit different of a journey to get there. But
Yeah.
I mean, looking at this now, like as far as draft prospect as well, we have 3 Lindenwood guys who are potential NFL players at worst. So I'm just
Yeah.
really excited about what the senior class you guys have had really kind of did there at Lindenwood over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I can't say enough great things about those guys, man. We all built super strong bonds. Me and Grady are super close. Me and Drew are super close. All those guys, and there was a lot of seniors that year. We actually, when COVID happened, a lot of schools had trouble bringing everybody back. Man, we got every single senior came back pretty much without question. So that kind of just speaks to the level of dedication and belief they had in our coaching staff and the direction our program was going. And it definitely showed up in 2021. But yeah, those all of us seniors were super close, and it speaks volumes to the people they were and the kind of culture that coaching staff had bred there at Lindenwood. Because I kind of came in, without knowing anybody, who was a little bit apprehensive or whatever, and not sure if I was going to be able to really gel with those guys. And man, they accepted me right in, and the transition was super smooth, and I mean everything was it was seamless, and I can't say enough about those seniors, and I'm super excited for Grady and Drew and all of them, and there's some other ones too. So we'll kind of see how all of our journey ends.
Yeah, and I want to ask about Grady. Obviously, him being down, coming down to the event as well. He had told me, oh, I've seen Clint sometimes in one-on-ones. Obviously, you guys are working against more scout team players than maybe first defense versus first offense. But can you highlight Grady a little bit as a player and just kind of what you've been able to go one-on-one against him in practice setting?
Oh, dude, yeah. So, well, first of all, no teams wanted to throw to near Grady this year. I think so. He had 2 picks, and that was pretty much the only time anybody threw at him. But Grady's he's 6'3" and he's super long, and he's just got
Mhm.
long levers, and he's hard to get separation from. He's also super fast, and he's got really great game speed. And yeah, we had some battles in practice, man. I think every time, so we'd have 2 5-minute periods of one-on-one, and we'd always look at each other from across the field and say, "All right, you up in 2, you up in 3, we wanna go right now," and because we'd always wanna go against each other, you know? But yeah, towards the end of the season, man, I was like, "I'm not gonna try and, like, route this guy up, I just gotta get super physical with him." So I'd go up to the top of my route and just try and blow him up and get separation that way. But no, we had some good battles, and there's always a lot of mutual respect between me and Grady, so I think he's gonna do really, really well at the showcase, and I'm excited to see, him fully healed up and what he can do.
And I have to be honest with you, Clint. The first thing I saw of you after I just kind of seen the production and saw the size, I went down to the Blesto list. I saw the verified measurables, all that good stuff. The first thing I saw was a highlight tape of you at Sioux Falls when you had that big club on you, right? And I was like, I am
Yeah.
sold. A tight end that can wear that club band and still catch the football. I'm like, I'm in. Can you, for maybe the people that obviously that haven't seen you play, or the people that are going to be down at the showcase that are going to be seeing you for the first time in person, just what type of player would you describe yourself as? Like, what are some of your biggest strengths, you think?
Yeah, man. So I would describe myself kind of as a gamer in terms of when I go out there, I'm not, apprehensive. I'm not thinking about, getting hurt or whatever. I'm pretty much putting my body on the line every play, and I definitely play with a chip on my shoulder. Like, if I got the ball in the flats and you're coming low at me, I'm going to throw a hurdle. You know what I mean? I'm not scared about, how I'm going to fall and I definitely block with an attitude in the trenches too. Like I'm trying to finish you through the whistle. Um, and I think I've got some unique matchup capabilities as well in terms of stretching the field down the seam, and also being like a reliable, short yardage third down target as well. So, um, yeah, I think that kind of sums up a little bit of the player I am. And there's obviously areas where I can improve, and I'm excited to kind of get into training for this pro day and kind of, get a little faster and stronger. And I think that'll really take my game to the next level. But, obviously you're going to get a competitor out of me when I come down to Fort Worth, and just super excited to, get on the field, show what I can do. I just really, really love football and really love all the opportunities it's blessed me with. And so, when I'm playing at my absolute 100%. Yeah, you mentioned the club. That's funny. I kind of even forgot about that. But yeah, that was my senior year. I had broke my the boxer's fracture or whatever, so I had broke my
Yeah.
fifth metatarsal or something like that, and they had a cast on me. I was like, well, I'm still playing, so we clubbed it up, man, and they still threw me the rock, and it ended up being pretty fun actually. But
I love it. I love it, man. And I have to be honest. One of the first names, Clint, that kind of came to my mind as far as like a comp, I guess, is at least stylistically. Like you remind me a little bit of Dallas Goedert. I live right outside of Philadelphia. I'm like he kind of just plays with that chip on his shoulder, physicality. Like I wouldn't call him like he's not a make you miss guy in the open field, but like he drags some tacklers. He's super physical. He understands how to play behind his pads. Like that's the kind of guy that I kind of see from you stylistically. Are there some guys maybe you want to throw out that? Maybe not direct comps, but maybe guys that you like to watch a ton, emulate to a degree?
absolutely, and I like that you brought up Dallas. He was at South Dakota State when I was in Sioux Falls, and I remember looking up to that dude and being like, man, this guy's gonna be good at the next level. So that's cool that you said that. I think obviously my favorite tight end and favorite comparison that I ever get is Gronk, which I don't even like to compare myself to him because he's obviously the all-time great, but just in terms of how he plays and how physical he is, and how big he is, and just even his personality, like it's all freaking love the Gronk. So I would say him, and then obviously George Kittle. The way he blocks with an attitude. Like I don't know if you saw. I think they were playing. Well, yeah, they were playing the Rams, and he freaking put Von Miller in the dirt. I was like,
On his
whoa,
back, dude. On his
yes,
back.
that
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, just crazy. So I would probably say Kittle and Gronk to not to pick the two best, but
Hey, they're the best for a reason, though. So
right
I
on.
respect it.
Exactly.
Again, College Gridiron Showcase interview here, powered by Frogfield. Make sure to check out frogfield.com. Clint, I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit into maybe some things that you're hoping to show at the showcase. You mentioned obviously you're excited, you're ready to compete, all that good stuff. I think most people are going to watch your film and they're going to be like, dude is physical. He's got a nice frame. But what are some things in front of scouts, both on the field, in the interview room, medicals, all that type of stuff? Like, what are some things that you really want to showcase during the week of College Gridiron Showcase?
Absolutely. So I think on the field, I want to show that I can make tough contested catches and go up and get the ball, down the middle of the field and in the end zone. I think I need to showcase that ability a little bit. I need to show that I can be a solid blocker, and I think my film shows that, especially when I was in Sioux Falls. But I think I need to kind of put a stamp on that, and that I can be a guy that's gonna do both, go out and catch passes and handle his own in inline blocking situations. And I think I'm not sure exactly how the whole structure of it's all going to work, but I do want to show that I'm a guy that can be out on the field in all situations as well, too. And I think that was something that I took a lot of pride in, especially at Sioux Falls in college, is that we don't need to go 10 personnel. You know what I mean? Like you got me out there. So I think that on the field. I think in the interview room, um, just I'm a guy that's very personable, and I take coaching really well. I'll look you in the eye, shake your hand, all that good stuff, and just show that I've got a good grasp and a good concept of, coverages and basic football IQ stuff, and I'm excited to kind of show what I've learned through my whole college experience in football, and then you mentioned medical room. It's pretty exciting for me because I'm finally 100% healthy, which has
Nice.
been, and it's not like I didn't have any. I'm gonna knock on wood. I didn't have any like blowout injuries or anything in college. I just had, a shoulder labrum, which I'm pretty sure 85% of college football players have, whether or not they
I've,
get it
I've,
fixed.
I've had two of them, man. So I'm right there
Right.
with you. I get it.
Exactly. So, that, and then I had a hip labrum cleaned up as well, and that was like super easy, like a 3-month recovery. But so I've been blessed, but you know how college football is, like you feel like you're always banged up. So it's exciting to go play a showcase where I'm 100%. So
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And kind of just looking at that invite for a second, Clint, because obviously it's a high volume of players this year because a lot of guys returned, obviously, for the extra year of eligibility, the COVID year, and there was a limited spots in all-star games. I mean, I have people daily like hitting me up, like, is there a room in the showcase? Is there a room in the showcase? And there's really not at this point. Like there is. And last year, for the College Gridiron Showcase, for people that don't know, like we had 12 guys that were drafted into the NFL, another 70 plus that signed free agent contracts. Like, the event is growing. So just how happy were you with just the generally, excuse me, with the invites and the ability to showcase in an all-star setting? It's really exciting.
oh man, I'm absolutely stoked. I've been keeping up on Twitter and Instagram with the like the roster updates you guys have been giving, and I saw
Yep.
y'all put out the DN and edge players yesterday, and I was looking at all those guys. I was like, man, this is going to be a great opportunity for me because you see Florida State, Northwestern, Savannah State. I'm like, all right, cool. So I've
Yeah.
been even trying to get into some of those guys' film and kind of get a beat on how they play. But no, it's just very, very exciting. Um, I think it's going to be a great showcase, and I'm super, super stoked and super thankful that I got the invite and ready to show what I can do.
Yeah. And the last question I have for you, Clint, really appreciate all the time. The last thing, obviously, is I'm sure, you seem like a football guy. Seems like you've been playing for a long time. So, kind of a two-part end here. One, how long has NFL, professional football, been a dream? And number two, a few months from now, it could be a reality. Just how blessed and exciting is it to think that you could be a professional football player here very shortly?
Yeah. So I think if you ask a lot of players, they'll say ever since they were young, and that's 100% true with me. I was playing tackle football, I think, when I was, as soon as they would let me put the pads on, obviously. And so I've just been in love with the game for so long and emulated and idolized a lot of those NFL players and still do. And so, and it has been a long journey with, red shirts and COVID year and everything. And so to think that it might finally come to fruition is exciting, and it's also brought me to another level of focus. And so I'm ready to kind of have a really good showcase, and then hopefully train really well, have a really good pro day, and kind of put a stamp on things for me and make my impression on some managers out there, and hopefully somebody gives me a shot.
Absolutely. Again, joined here by Clint Sigg, star tight end out of Lindenwood University, College Gridiron Showcase acceptee. Will be down participating in only a couple weeks here. Clint, really appreciate this again, man. This was fantastic. I love, obviously you can find a lot of information on the internet and all that type of stuff, but I love just being able to kind of hear it firsthand and be able to sit down, man. I really appreciate the time, especially near the holidays.
Yeah, man, it was great sitting down. I appreciate everything, and happy holidays to you and happy New Year, man.